we really care about branding. We really care about how things come across. And we think that you can't bring new technology to the market unless it's marketed in a culturally forward way. So that's a really big thing for us is the whole aesthetic of everything we touch has to be culturally forward. But at the same time, it has to be backed by science and thoughtfully created and designed. And I think we excel in both areas. So that was the vision there is to not only win on the marketing side, but also to be the best on the science side.
Can you kind of explain what you mean by being culturally forward?
Yeah, so it's understanding what's cool at any given time, visually, aesthetically, sonically, um, and understanding who to work with and how to get a product out into the world. So we, from a basketball standpoint, we haven't worked with any NBA players in huge depth, but we have a street ball player that we work with who has a large Instagram presence, who a ton of kids follow, and that just made more sense to us because he is exactly what we stand for from a value standpoint. He's kind of a rebel. He does his own thing. His name's Bone Collector. He was like not on the and one street ball tour, but built his own presence and rep through this whole time, was homeless for a huge part of it. Like really, really fantastic story. And to see a guy who's persevered through all of that, who really stands for what we believe in, which is move with confidence. Plus, he's a good guy. He takes care of his community. He's really, really involved with the kids. Just a stand-up guy, and he's ridiculous at basketball. Like I don't know if you saw in the last couple of days, but he just really crossed over Floyd Mayweather this past week.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
did see that.
yeah, he can play. So to find people like that who have a cultural impact that is extremely um, just undervalued in terms of what they do for us as a community and a culture, we love being involved with people like that. So that's what I mean by culturally forward.
Have to know what it was like to be invited to the White House to present for Obama.
It was cool. He's a really cool guy. He was very laid back. Even that was like totally random. I applied just because I saw it on their site. And I just didn't think anything of it, and there was no mention that he would even be there. It was just supposed to be at the White House, which I thought would be really cool because I'd never been there. When we did our eighth grade trip, it was still closed for tours and all of that, so I'd never seen the White House. I was like, this would be fun. And when I got there, they had me go like in a completely different area than everyone else that was exhibiting. I was like, well, this sucks. Like nobody who's coming here is gonna see anything that I've worked on. Like I'm in this back alley behind two other layers of security, and it didn't click till I saw him walk outside. I was like, oh wow, okay, this is way better.
That's awesome. So like how much time did you have with them?
It was just a few minutes, just like 3 or 4 minutes. But we got to talk just about what I was building, what the goal was, and just kind of about student entrepreneurship. But it was just a cool experience for me.
So when you say you were messaging a bunch of different segments, like can you ballpark how many different segments you were trying with your messaging?
Oh, literally everybody. So in terms of like the granularity of it, we had say the whole U.S. population broken down into sports, into age groups, into genders, into whether they were parents or not, into where they lived, and all the way down to what hour of the day they were exposed to an advertisement. Because if you see something at work, it's different than if you see it at home.
That's crazy. So how long were you running the ads before they really started to quote unquote like to work? Because I feel like a lot of people will try Facebook ads for like a month or so and be like, well, these don't really work for us and give up. But it takes so long to do the testing like what you've done in order for them to really start working. So I'm just curious how long that process was for you.
It was 6 months till we got an inkling of hope, and then 3 more months till it scaled. There's a lot of ways to make money, and building a company is not the best way to do that. So, especially an impact based company in the healthcare space, not the best way to make money. Especially if you just want to do that, you should go to Wall Street. So, at the end of the day, it's really just about that pure will and doing it for the right reason that gets you from A to B. That was something I saw early, and it really stuck with me.
That's really interesting. Kind of that thought that starting a company is not a great way to make money. And I feel like nowadays entrepreneurship is kind of just this like a trendy thing that everyone wants to do. So like, what are your advice to people that are wanting to start getting into entrepreneurship?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's like trade school. Entrepreneurship is a trade. So is music production. So is painting. So is acting. So you need to treat it like a trade. You have to find people who are experts. You have to spend time with them. You have to get one of them to take you on as their basically like their apprentice and um, learn. One of my friends that I reconnected with recently, he has a mentor that he met at his previous job, and he had been learning from his mentor for a couple of years. The mentor asked him to quit his job and work for him, and he is literally for like full time, getting paid to do it, learning from his mentor every single day, everything about how this guy's businesses were built, all the stories behind it, everything he learned, and he's helping run these things. So he's getting the chance to make his own mistakes, but he's also getting the guidance of someone who's really great at what they do. And that is the model of apprenticeship that we've had for thousands of years, but it's really the only way to learn a unique skill. Um, if you're not trying to get a job and you're trying to do something that is more of a learned skill like that, you just have to treat it like an apprenticeship. It's not that bad. Like whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking about, it's just not that bad.
And like, why do you say that?
Because it feels bad. Everything feels overwhelming. It feels stressful. It feels bad. But if you look back later, it's not that bad. So whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling any negative thoughts or dark times or whatever you're going through, it's just not that bad. Like one of the tricks that I learned a while back was if you feel upset about something, instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, um, that person is so annoying," or "Oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming," you just have to add the words "and I love it" to the end of that. So that person is so annoying and I love it, or this is so overwhelming and I love it. Just lets you take a completely different attitude to the same situation.